everybody. Good evening. Let's get back at it right now. I'm excited about the upcoming game against Texas Tech. They've had another bye, so they've had 2 weeks off. Usually you don't like to see teams have this much time off because there's always a concern for a letdown when they come back and play again. But one of the things that we can be definitely guaranteed is that Coach Prime said that they had a great week of practice. He says one of the best practice sessions that he has seen them play. And that's a good sign when you're getting ready to go into a big-time game in the Big 12 against a team that's looking to take them down. Texas Tech is looking to squeeze themselves into this Big 12 race, playoff race, the whole 9-yard championship race. And so there's always a concern, as I said, for there being a letdown with the football team. But Coach Prime has them primed to be ready for Texas Tech. What can I say? There's a lot of things that they're going to have to examine about this Texas Tech team. The things that I'm hearing in the grapevine is that Texas Tech, and you've heard the coaches talk about this, that Texas, I think it was the linebackers coach that talked about this, that Texas Tech likes to play a lot of high-tempo football. They, just like CU, they want to spread you out. I had a chance to examine some of their games. They like to spread you out with 5 wide receivers. By the way, their receivers are not better than our receivers. Let's keep that in mind. We do have one guy that we definitely want to keep an eye on in this contest. Most definitely. And that is Kelly. Kelly's their wide receiver. I'm going to put him up on the board just to give you a little taste of what we're going to have to face. Josh Kelly is I believe, their number 1 receiver for Texas Tech. So we're definitely going to have to be aware of what he brings to the table. Let me say hi and love to Alicia. Shirley's come in the house. Blue Devil Gleam is in the house. Transforming. This is our YouTube TT Kenwell till next year. What's going on? Welcome here. Those that are coming in every step of the way. I know it's a late night for some folks, but Josh Kelly, I'm going to say this again. He's sort of their primary wide receiver that can sort of what you call do it all, right? So once again, you need to lock someone on him, lock him down with someone like, obviously, Travis Hunter. Let me put some stats up here for him right here. Now, here he is. Here is Josh Kelly to the far right. As you can see on this stat line, season leaders, Travis Hunter has 60 receptions on the year for 757 yards, 8 TDs. Now, Josh Kelly, once again, he's the guy who makes things happen in their passing. He's one of their top-notch receivers. We've got to definitely do what we've been doing. They've got to do what they've been doing, which is taking the top receiver out of the game, making him a no factor. Last week, okay, they were able to take Henderson, Arizona's. They were able to keep Arizona's receiver to very little, and then the following week after that, they were able to do certain damage to a receiver by the name of Henderson, who couldn't do anything against CU just 2 weeks ago. So right here, Josh Kelly, as you can see on here, has 68 receptions. So he's got 8 more catches more than Travis so far. And Texas Tech, if you know anything about them, they are a passing team. Their offense is predicated off of their spread offense, option type offense, mainly spread, 5 wide receivers, and get guys spread out, one back in the backfield, let them run in between the tackles, outside, what have you. Their whole offense is predicated on tempo, and that tempo is speed, keeping things going. Josh Kelly had 68 receptions for 736 yards, 5 TDs. That's what their guy is able to do. That's what he's capable of in their scheme. Their quarterback, let me bring him up here right now, is this man right here, Morton. This is their quarterback. Let's see his stat line right now, real quick, in comparison to Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur has 2,591 yards on the season. That's a lot of yards, y'all. He's got 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, when you look at Morton for Texas Tech, which is a passing type offensive team, he's got 2,300 yards on the year, 19 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. So the stat line, as you see right there. And of course, when it comes to their running back, this is a guy that you want to look out for. I just want to put this on the line right now. This is Brooks. He's a pretty damn good running back. The kid runs with strength. He can run inside, outside. He's a guy that, I got to be honest, every now and then our defense our defense is, in terms of our run defense, we have been vulnerable to giving up big runs, particularly against good running backs and quarterbacks that can scramble and make something out of nothing. So they're going to have to keep an eye on this young man right here. This is Brooks, number 28. They've got to contain him. Now, we have watched CU's defense get better and better and better and better each week. They're always improving in different areas of the game. We're seeing guys like Seaman Craig, make plays after plays. He, as I said a week ago, to me, is a leader in that secondary. He is the man in that secondary. He makes things happen. Of course, you've got to have defensive players that can get inside, cause disruption. We know that the linebacker, when we got a guy like Hill Green making big plays, we need these guys to put pressure on their running game. Take the running game away from them, put pressure on them, put doubt in their mind. We need guys, again, like Craig. We need guys like Bentley. Bentley's been a little quiet over the last few games since the beginning of the season. We need Bentley to come alive in this game. This is a big game for a lot of reasons, because a lot of those reasons have to do with the fact of the rankings, everybody. Right here is the AP Top 25 ranking that you see to my left. I appreciate everybody that's coming in. We've got Transformer. We got Pokey. We've got folks coming in. D3, what's going on to you? Realism. Shallow has gotten to wrap up on tackles. I've been saying that, Realism. I've been saying that on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're new to this channel. I've been saying this, that Shallow has got to do more than just bump tack. He has to wrap tack. But 2 weeks ago on this channel, people were saying, after the victory that they had a week ago, people were saying that maybe one reason why Shallow is not actually wrapping up in his tackles as we would prefer him to do is because he's got a brace on that shoulder where he had the injury, and maybe the brace is, I don't know, I don't want to speculate. Could the brace, that's better, could the brace that he has on his shoulder, could that be interfering with his ability to wrap guys up when he's going for the tackles? You let me know in the chat room, everybody that's listening, what do you think about that? Okay, now, here are the rankings right here. Remember, CU was 23 in the rankings. They have moved up to 21 in the rankings. There it is right there, 21. To get in, to be able to play in the big time tournament for the national championship, they need to get themselves into a ranking like 12th, 11th, or 10th in the country. If CU can run the table in their schedule, beat every team that's on their schedule, they got a chance to move up this ranking as any of these teams lose. So as you see, Kansas State, who beat us, is ranked 22. CU is ranked 21. We need Kansas State to lose. Every team in this division or this conference, we want them to lose. Let me put this big picture here. We got BYU. BYU is 5-0 in conference play. Iowa State, who I believe was upset last week by Texas Tech, if I'm not mistaken. They're 4-1 in conference play. CU is 4-1 in conference play. Guess what? This is really interesting. Kansas State is 4-2 in conference play, which is why CU is one step above them, ranked 21. Texas Tech is 4-2. Beating Texas Tech will do a long way of good for CU, moving up that ranking from 21 and moving on up like the Jeffersons, y'all. Oh, we're moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. I'm telling you. So what we need is these other teams to lose. BYU has yet to lose in conference play. They have yet to lose all this year so far. So when this weekend we want BYU to lose, we would like Iowa State to lose another game. Certainly we want Kansas State to lose, and certainly and most importantly, we need to beat Texas Tech this upcoming Saturday. We're going to be playing down there in their the Red Raiders in their home field advantage that they have with their passing game. Their fans are rabid down there. But look, we have a good record when we play on the road. Let me put this back up for you again. Away. So far, away, when it comes to away games, CU is 3-1 in away games. The only reason why they're 3-1, as you all know, is because they took a really big, bad loss to Nebraska. But that ever since they lost to Nebraska early in the season, that has woken them up to reality, and they've been playing good football ever since. Let me put this up here. I appreciate everybody that's coming in. I will read some of your statements. I got a board over here where I can see some of the things that you guys are saying. We got Teddy Roberts in the house saying we are now ranked 20th in the new rank. Okay, so now, thank you. So we're ranked 20th in the new ranking. Now, the last time I checked, now these rankings can change, and you know there's two different rankings. You've got the coaches ranking, you got the AP and the coaches ranking. They don't have CU 20th unless they've moved it up. Maybe they moved it up. Let me put this back up here. So recently, this was 21. Now they've got them 20, which means they've got them 20 over Washington State. Thank you for that information. We got Brian Johnson who's coming to the house. It's playoff time for the Buffs. Yes, it is playoff time. It is bowl time. They're bowl eligible. Now, Coach Prime said that they have their destiny is in their own hands. It is in their own hands. If CU can win out their schedule, let's go back up here. I want to put their schedule up here because there's a reason why I'm going about things the way I'm going about it right now. So I want to put that schedule. Give me a minute to find the schedule that I always usually have on here. Now, where is the damn schedule now? Let's look over here. Let's look over here. Damn, I put that schedule in here and now I can't even find it. Let me see. Give me a minute for. Oh, here we go. No. What's going on here? Where is the schedule? Why is it disappeared? So anyway, what am I going to do? Let's go over here to their standings, okay? So right there, you see that CU is third in the conference rankings at 4-1. They win another game, they're going to bump up. And if they are, as you said, ranked 20 at this time, because maybe it's changed, they win another game, they're going to go further up the ladder, and therefore they have a chance. If they can win out their football games, they got to win out their football games. They've got a chance to move themselves into the possibility of the 12-seeded national championship game. Now, Coach Prime made the bold statement just a year ago that he could see his team getting there to that 12-seeded playoff system. They've got to beat the teams in front of them and focus on the teams in front of them. Let me see. James Hunter says point blank, if CU just wins out, you only need Kansas State to beat Iowa State. CU. Now remember, I believe CU is going to play Oklahoma State after this game. If they can win this game, Oklahoma State is not a good football team. They're doing poorly this year. Let's put up the records right now. Do you know that Oklahoma State is 0-6 in conference play, 3-6 overall, and 2-3 at home, 1-3 away? I believe, tell me if I'm wrong or right, they're going to play Oklahoma State after playing Texas Tech. They've got to beat, if they beat Texas Tech and then they go and play Oklahoma State, win another game, they're moving up the rankings, y'all. I'm making a bold prediction that CU is going to be 8-2 in the next couple of weeks. They're going to be an 8-2 team because I believe they're going to beat Texas Tech. They're going to beat Oklahoma State. That's not a very good football team right now. Utah has not been looking good this year. They're 1-4 in Big 12 conference play, 4-4 overall. So teams that were touted to have better records than CU don't have better records than CU. CU is doing the damn thing. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Put sevens in the chat room if you're with me. Teddy Roberts says, big ups to the Buffs, 242 from the Bahamas. Was at the game. Coach Prime has fans in the Bahamas. That's fantastic. Let's give a clap to the folks in Bahamas. B-Dub97 says, definitely. Let me see what he was saying here. Let me move this up here. All right. B-Dub says, let me see. B-Dub, I want to read what B-Dub was saying right here before we move on with the show here. Let me see. DS3 says BYU, Iowa State is suspect. They are good, but not powerhouse like Oregon and Georgia. They can potentially lose one or two of those remaining schedule. No, I think that they can beat. Yeah, BYU could lose. Let's hope they lose. They are playing good football within the teams that they've played against, right? Okay, B-Dubbing97 says definitely need BYU to lose at least one game. Also need Iowa and K-State to lose one or more game, but CU's got to win out, be positions for the spot for the Big 12 championship game. At the end of the day, CU needs to win out all their games to make this a possibility to get into not only the Big 12 matchup, but to get into that main matchup, which is a national championship game. Literally, to get into that tournament, you got to win. They got to win every game on their schedule. Can't have another loss. That's just the facts, okay? James Hunter says the only poll that means anything at this time of the year is the CFP poll. Now, what poll did I have? I had the AP poll. So you're saying the AP poll doesn't have the same level of prestige as the poll that you just said there, the CFP poll. I'll be looking into that poll. Shirley Kimball says 7-7s. Teddy Roberts says we will be 10-2. Will be in the Big 12 championship game, and once we win that game, that will punch our ticket to the national championship tournament. Yes, because most of the teams that get into that tournament, they have to win their conference. Well, in the case of CU, they're going to have to win the conference outright to make things happen, okay? So they're going to have to neutralize not only this kid right here for Texas Tech, as I said before, their running back Brooks, but there's another guy that they got to worry about, okay? Conyers, their tight end, number 12. I've had a chance to examine him on film. This kid looks like he could be a pro-type style tight end, can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a sort of that receiving type tight end. So he's someone they're going to have to worry about. They have a linebacker right here. I'm just letting you know what CU is up against. They've got this kid right here, Ben Roberts. This is their linebacker, number 13. These are the guys that are going to be trying to fly around and try to stop CU, okay? They've got this guy here, Lux, right here. This is their defensive back, cornerback, should I say. This is one of their, these are their star guys. Their safety, Baskerville, CJ, right here, is their star strong safety. So I'm just showing you a little bit of what they've got going. Coach, we know that there's a relationship between Coach McGuire and Coach Prime. They go way back with each other. Coach Prime has had nothing but fun things to say about him, as they do have a relationship, everybody, that goes somewhere back. So let's go into the reactive studio, and I want you to hear. And I got other things I want to touch on tonight as we get close to the conclusion of tonight's show. But let's go in here right now, hear what Coach Prime had to say right here. A little bit of taste.
Playoff game to us. It's been that way all season. I think Shedeur made a comment early in, I don't know if it's the Big 12 press conference, that, every game we play is like a darn Super Bowl to people, not only to them, but to us, and it is. So that's the way we're going into it. Every game is a playoff. It's a single elimination tournament, and we plan on approaching all of them with.
Now, remember when Shedeur had made statements about this, and people tried to, you had critics out there trying to talk smack about Shedeur because Shedeur said that we're everybody's playoff, and that's when people were talking about, oh, you got to win some games, right? Well, they're winning games, right? And it's true. It is like that because these other teams are getting up for CU. They are playing. They're going out there to prove something themselves. There's jealousy, of course. They want to go out there. They want to neutralize Trav. They want to neutralize Jimmy Horn. They want to neutralize young men like Wester, Devontae Wester, great receiver that he is. They want to neutralize players like Shedeur. They want to make sure they don't look good. They want to make Hill Green not look good. Shadozi, they don't want guys like Shadozi to come out there and play a hell of a game, any of the linebackers. So they want to make guys look bad by beating them because obviously there's a jealousy out there because CU's getting a lot of attention.
Passion, with purpose, with consistency, with
I appreciate
focus,
everybody that's here tonight.
Dog-like attitude. We had a great practice today. God darn it, we had a great practice. It was so good. I called them up in the middle of the practice, and they thought they were going to get chewed out. I said, thank you.
Tell the truth.
I like this. I like what I'm seeing. So I'm proud of the young men as well as the coaches and support staff.
Hi, Coach. Adam Tiger, 24/7 Sports. I'm curious. You talked about today being a really good practice.
Yeah.
Did you approach
That's what I'm saying. Good practice.
this
Check this
bye
out.
week any differently than
No.
that first one?
We don't change. But you add some things, you subtract some things that you saw that you didn't like about preparation, some things that you saw that you didn't like about concentration as well. You try to eliminate that and add more to it. So I'm always trying to up it. I'm always trying to make sure we're on point, not only as a head coach, but our staff, support staff, as well as the young men that we're counting on. Playoff game to us.
You hear what Coach Prime is saying about the support staff, about the players and what they mean to him. This is why they're having success. This is a complete different team, a different attitude. They are coming in this game against Texas Tech still confident about who they are, focused. As Coach Prime says, that their practices have been better this week.
Press conference that, every game we play is like a darn Super Bowl.
Let me move this up. I think I had moved this back by accident. Here we go.
So that's the way we're going into it. Every game is a playoff. It's a single elimination tournament, and we plan on approaching all of them with passion, with purpose, with consistency, with focus, and that dog-like attitude. We had a great practice today. God darn it, we had a great practice.
Listen.
It was so good. I called them up in the middle of the practice, and they thought they were going to get chewed out. I said, thank you. I like this. I like what I'm seeing. So I'm proud.
So this is key for them going into this game against Texas Tech, because to have a 2-week bye like this, it allows sometimes teams or players to become complacent, and we don't want them to become complacent. They've got a mission. Everybody in the chat room has been saying it. Put sevens if you agree. If they can win out, they get into the Big 12 tournament, as those in the chat room have said. They get into the Big 12 championship, and if they can win that championship, they almost basically buy their own ticket They can buy their own ticket to that 12-seeded playoff national championship game. Am I correct? You're correct. We're telling the truth here.
Tell the truth.
And if you got that type of mentality where you're practicing hard, you're getting better, these young men are getting it. If you practice the way you want to play, you're going to be excellent on Saturday. Didn't that rhyme what I just said? Let's continue.
Out of the young men as well as the coaches and support staff.
Hi,
Thank
Coach
you,
Adam,
everybody.
Tiger 24/7 Sports. I'm curious. You talked about today being a really good practice.
Yeah.
Did you approach this bye week any differently than
No.
that first one?
We don't change. But you add some things, you subtract some things that you saw that you didn't like about preparation, some things that you saw that you didn't like about concentration as well. You try to eliminate.
So there we have it. As Coach Prime is saying, you see some things that you don't like from preparation from the week before, and you try to make those adjustments. You try to tweak things here and there to be the best that you can be. And it shows with their progression. I'm going to say it right now. I believe they're going to go into Texas Tech. They're going to take care of business. I think they're going to come out and play very well. Guys have had some time to kind of like heal, refresh themselves. I think they're going to play very well. I don't think Texas Tech, I'm going to say it again. I know I sound like a broken record. I don't think they've played anybody on their schedule with the weapons that CU has at the receiving spot. And now we know that we now have a legitimate running game. Okay? We have something that we were asking for a year ago that we did not get, that we have gotten this year, okay, is a legitimate running game with this kid right here. Isaiah has been God sent. Hayden, we can't sleep on him. And y'all already know how I feel about Micah Welsh and his potential skill set when it comes to this football team, that he is the future, a young man that has the ability to run inside, outside, break tackles, the whole 9 yard. So I still feel that he is potentially still, not potentially, but is our future running back prospect as we go on for years to come. I think if he stays on this team, doesn't transfer somewhere else, believes in the process, Michael Welsh is going to get better. But Isaiah is doing a great job. We saw how he played a week ago. The man was a monster. He was running. He was dragging people all over that field, doing pretty much whatever he wanted. And so we got to respect his ability, his skill set, what he was able to bring to the table just 2 weeks ago. Okay, let's go to another video because I want you to hear the coach, Coach McGuire, longtime friend of Coach Prime, someone who has been in his they both have coached in the same areas. They have a relationship. Let's go ahead and let you hear what that relationship is. And I appreciate everyone coming in. We've got Al Smiths who says they all need to rap instead of trying to strip the ball all the time. I would agree. Wrap those tackles up. Let me see. Chad says you're going to catch flack when the defense your team is facing ranked 75 or lower in the nation for total defense. Interesting. I don't care at this point. The bottom line is they've got to win the games. I don't care what the team's rankings are or what have you. If they win the games and go to the Big 12 championship game, they can seal their ticket into that tournament. And we also have to keep this in mind. A lot of this is predicated on on CU winning their games out and a few teams here and there losing games too. So it's all these various things that we need to see happen as well. And there's some things that can happen. Other teams can lose games too when it comes down to the crunch time here. Let me see. Chad says, okay, State is only a couple of spots from last in the total defense. Wow. Oklahoma State's like total and we're going to play Oklahoma State just after this game. I'm predicting that we're going to be 8-2 after we play this game, play Oklahoma State. We'll see how it all happens. Let me get to this one right here, let you hear what he had to say. This is Coach McGuire, the head coach of Texas Tech. He has some great things to say about Coach Prime and the players here. Let's go here and let you hear this.
Bucky,
he knows
Deion
Bucky
Jr.,
very
he runs
well.
all his social media and does a lot of different things for that university. Man, he was a special football player, just like his other two sons. And so I'm excited to see him. You know, he has done a phenomenal job this year. There's a lot of people that questioned if he could get that program turned around, and he has. They're bowl eligible. They're 4-1 in conference, and we're sitting at 4-2. So it's a huge game. I believe we're facing two of the best college football players in the country. You know, one is probably the leader in the Heisman right now, Travis Hunter. I mean, he's a generational player. You know, I keep thinking back, and you'd have to go a long way back. I know there's been different guys that have been able to play both sides of the ball, but this guy's going to take over 100 snaps on Saturday and play at an elite level. I mean, as good as anybody in the country, and so he deserves to be in the mix and probably the leader. And then, in my opinion, I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. If I was an NFL GM and I had a pick to where I needed a quarterback, he'd be the first quarterback taken in this year's draft.
Now, you say, why is he saying all these great things about the players, Travis Hunter, Shedeur in particular? Because there's a relationship there, and Coach Prime has talked about it. He has watched Shedeur, Bucky, all of them when they were very young. So he is familiar with them. He's been around them. He's been around Coach Prime. Coach Prime says out of all the coaches that he's very, very fond of, that this is the man that he definitely will give a hug to, that he's very fond of. But as much as he's very fond of Coach McGuire, and McGuire has a lot of respect for the players that he has and what they can do, still doesn't change the fact that CU has got to beat their ass, okay?
Tell the truth.
They've got to beat their ass, go in there, take names and take numbers or whatever the hell you want to call it, and beat them. Get out of there, walk out of there with a 7-2 record. Let's go back to this again. Walk out of there with a 7-1 record in conference. They'll be 7-2 overall. But what's most important right now is what they do in conference. Walk out of there 5-1 in conference. They'll be 5-1 in conference, and overall they'll be 7-2 overall with their record. Come back next week, beat Oklahoma State, and become 6-1 in conference, and jump up to 8-2 in overall play. That's my prediction for what they need to do here. Let's get back to Coach McGuire.
Should be, you know, and so I have a lot of respect for him. I still remember both his sons that we're going to play on Saturday, running around. We both coached in the Under Armour game together multiple times, and Garrett and his sons running around throwing the ball whenever they were younger.
So he has a certain respect for Coach Prime, his sons, because of seeing them when they were kids. I do like the way he recommended the fact that Shedeur should be the number 1 quarterback drafted. Now, we can look at this two ways. I said this before. Of course, he has genuine respect for CU Coach Prime and the players there. But it's also another way to psychologically pump his own players up when they hear their coach saying such fun things about the opposition. That can also be what we call averse psychology happening there as well. I talked about that with the last team that they played and the last coach that they matched up against, that there's always the potential. When they played against Cincinnati 2 weeks ago, that coach did the same thing where he had a lot of great things to say about Coach Prime and the players, but that can be reverse psychology to get his players up for the game. So it can go both ways. Here's another video of Coach Prime. Let's hear what he said. I clipped another video. It's a short one. Let's hear what Coach Prime had to say here about his. I think this is the one we talked about his relationship with this coach. Let's see what we got here.
Kind of concentrate.
Let me see if this is
from
it.
the time we wake up and go to practice before we leave.
Okay.
And the things that
All right, this is
we
different.
know we can accomplish. The unity, the focus in the walkthroughs, the just overall understanding of being early, not on time. And when you get there, don't even think about bringing a phone in the meeting room, just the undaunting focus that we have, man. So I think that's a lot. It says a lot to the structure and what our coaches are expecting from the young men and what they're delivering. They get it.
All right. So as you once again, these are all reasons why they're winning football games. There's better focus, better attention to detail. The coaches are really getting these young men prepared. And as I said before, and you notice already, Coach Prime, there's a level of better talent on this team. And a lot of this can be because of what he's done with the transfer portal and some of the recruits that he's been able to get out of the high school ranks. You have better quality players on this football team who understand the urgency of preparing themselves to win. I think this is why they're playing better football. I think their attention to details, their focus is a lot better than last year's team. We have to be honest about that. Just a little bit more of Coach Prime before I move on to the next part of the program tonight.
Get it. Early on, it was you're trying to teach them certain ways, but now they get it. They understand what's at stake. They understand what's on the table, and they hungry. They ready to eat.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell,
How you
the
doing?
Bullet Data Camera. A couple questions for you. First off, Coach Livingston was very complimentary of Kevin Mathis.
Oh,
and
here we go.
Just what he's meant to the defense.
Right.
What, in your opinion, makes Coach Mathis such a good coach?
Well, I happen to have known him since we played for the Cowboys together, and he's coached at every level from youth, 7-on-7, high school.
Coach Mathis, he's talking
Jackson, everywhere with me. So, he's my guy. His attention to detail is
So he's talking about Coach Matthews, who he played in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. He's coached at every level. He pays attention to details. He has nothing but fine things to say about him. Great things to say about Coach Matthews. So that sounds great. Let me go to another segment right here of the coach of Texas Tech. One more segment of him and what he had to say further on about CU and the matchup and what his team. I want you to hear exactly in this video, focus more on what he says his team needs to do to prepare for the challenge against CU. Check this out.
Some of the drop 8 in and stuff like that. But it's one of those deals that you're not going to stop what he does. You've just got to hope that you're slowing him down. And then,
so once again, it's the same thing that Cincinnati's coach said, realizing that he can't stop Shador, but you want to slow him down. Now, we know so far you can't slow Shador down when the offensive line is blocking well for him, when everything is going on all cylinders, and he's focused, he's locked in. Very difficult. Everyone says this, but that many people have not been able to accomplish this since they've went on this winning streak so far. And I'm going to say this again, which is very important. The formula for CU to win these games is very clear if you've been paying attention over the last few weeks of their games. And that is when they run the football and run it effectively and give attention to the running game, develop that balance. Do not become one-dimensional. You notice that every game that they've been running the ball pretty decent in, they're winning. When they go to that one-dimensional offense that they ran last year, where it's just pass, no running game, they lose games. If CU goes into this game against Texas Tech, get away from enforcing themselves physically on this team by way of the running game. I believe they're going to have problems because it's very clear to me they need to run to set up the pass to set up the run. It all goes together. Do you agree with me?
Tell the truth.
But sevens, if you do, I appreciate you. But they got to stay with that formula that has been working.
The one thing that we've done well all year long on defense is take the ball away.
See?
You know, we created a turnover against Iowa State with Jacob Rodriguez punching the ball out. That was the first fumble they've had.
Let me stop right there. I wanted you to hear what he said. Texas Tech, the head coach, says that one of the things that they've been doing very well this year is taking the ball away from teams, meaning causing teams to turn the ball over, causing people to fumble the ball, drop balls, whatever it takes. They've been forcing teams to turn the ball over. Once again, CU cannot go into this game being careless with the football. Don't turn the football over. We can't have people fumbling the ball. This is a team that looks to create turnovers on defense. I want you to hear what he said once more.
Turnover against Iowa State with Jacob Rodriguez punching the ball out. That was the first fumble they've had all single season long. That's something that's been a big emphasis on, you know, for us. And so we've got to be able to take the ball away to generate a couple extra possessions for our offense.
You see? Got to be able to take the ball away to generate offense, generate opportunity and offense for their offense by way of the defense turning the ball over or causing the opposition. In this case, they want to cause CU to turn the ball over, to make mistakes, to get the ball back to their offense. We've got to pay attention to that detail, and I'm sure the coaches are focusing on those details. Let me bring this up to your attention right here. Now, I want to say this. According to the ESPN analysis matchup predictor, they predict that CU will beat Texas Tech at the percentage of 63.8%. They've got Texas Tech beating CU at 36.2%. So right now, they are the underdog to CU. CU has the advantage with the 63.8% percentage in the potential of beating this team. Let's see what we have in the chat room here. Chad says agree. Transforming says facts. Jabba says 7-7. Texas Tech defense is horrible. And if they are horrible, let them be horrible. So be it. So be it, as long as we go in there, beat them soundly, and beat them effectively, so we can move up the ranks from being, 20 now? I thought it was 21, but they moved up to 20. Let's move on up to 19, 18, 17, 14, 13, 12. Moving on up.
Tell the truth.
Blue Devil Glean says TT leads Big 12 11-2. Okay. Now, let's go into this area. Let's compare what's happened. Check this out. This is their schedules side by side within the time period that they've been playing games. As you can see, the only loss in conference play that CU has, obviously, is Kansas State. We know that. Check this out. Check this out. Texas Tech lost to TCU 35-34. They lost to Baylor. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe this? And we did our job against Baylor. They lost. We beat Baylor. Check this out. We beat Baylor 38-31 in overtime. Of course, it went into overtime, right? When Shador threw that incredible pass to Wester, right? Now, check this out. Baylor beat them. Baylor put up 59 yards on Texas Tech. So you're right about that horrible defense. Texas Tech lost to Baylor the same week that CU lost to Kansas State. They lost to Baylor 59-35. We lost to K-State 31-28. Now, they lost to TCU 35-34, and TCU isn't playing good football this year. So, and then they beat Cincinnati, they beat Arizona, right? And then, of course, they upset Iowa State just a week ago. So I'm just showing you the comparison and contrast of their current schedules within the Big 12 conference. Realism says, my only concern would be them stopping the run. They have not fared too well against the likes of K-State and Giddings, right, of Cincinnati, right. I'm concerned about that, but you can also make an argument that they'll be prepared. When you talk about the running game, they're going up against Brooks. Here's the young man right here. He's a good running back. The one thing that CU has going for them that you're going to have to keep in mind is that they have gone through a number of really good running backs that are pro prospects so far, right? They have played. They know what these teams do in the Big 12. They like to run the ball.
Information
is power. So I'm sure they will be prepared for what they need to do against this young man that you see right here on the screen right now, because CU has gone against an onslaught of really good running backs within the Big 12. That cannot be denied. The question is, they have to shore up, just like you said, shore up their run defense and don't get shredded up the middle on their defense. That is still a concern for me. But what we've noticed so far this season is that CU has been able to improve each week. Somebody always steps up each week and makes a big play. So let's believe in the process and believe in what this team is capable of doing against a team the nature of Texas Tech. Transferring says, our play terrible. Right. D3 agrees with what I'm saying by putting 3 sevens. I appreciate that. Clap to you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Now, let me go over to this area right here. I showed that. I think the key to this game is controlling their running game. Don't let Kelly, their receiver, get loose. Be aware of their tight end, Conyers. All right. Morton, keep him under pressure. If you notice if you notice, CU's defensive line is getting pressure to quarterbacks. They are hitting their lanes properly. They have been getting pressure on the quarterback. They cannot afford to let up this week and not put pressure on this guy you see right here, because he's the man who makes that offense work from the receipt in terms of throwing the ball, getting the ball down the field. And once again, they're gonna try to spread CU out just the same way that CU likes to spread other teams out with the 5 wide receiver sets. Okay. Now, let's go over here. I want to say something right here that's very important. Coach Prime, I got to give him a lot of kudos on this. Football is great. I'm enjoying watching the games. I'm enjoying doing this channel and talking to you all about each game each week. But something that's very more important is the fact that these young men are in college. They're trying to get an education. And Coach Prime had to have a stern conversation with them about this. Let me just read this. You probably have already heard about this or seen videos on this. On the first day back after their bye week, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, delivered a stern message to his Colorado Buffaloes football team. He emphasized that academic performances is just as critical as athletic powers, hinting that there will be replications, or there will be repercussions, should I say, repercussions for players with subpar grades. Okay?
Tell the truth.
Coach Prime Sanders expressed a disappointment, stating that I expect a lot more from you all. His message was clear that he's not only on the field, but he's also believes in molding these young men into more disciplined and successful individuals, both in football and beyond football. Coach Prime has said this time and time again. Let's give him kudos and give him respect and a clap for that. I think this is clearly important that Coach Prime continues to emphasize academics. And I think it was important for him to do that. What do you think about that? Peggy Rosser comes in and says, hello to all. Thank you for being here. Damian, hey, what's going on, Dwayne? Dwayne says he believes that the Buffs will beat Texas Tech 31-21. That's not bad, but you know what? I think I'm going to predict that they put up even more numbers than that. Dwayne, I think they're going to put up more numbers than even that. I think they can get this game. We're going to see. We're going to see. That's a good predictor right there so far, but I want to see them put up even more numbers than that because they are more than capable of doing so. You see, that's just how I see it. That's my perspective about it, right? What did Coach Prime tell us? If you give Shedeur time to get the ball down the field, he can make big things happen. Another thing to keep in mind is that, I'm going to say it again, put pressure on this young man right here. I think that CU has been leading in the conference and getting pressure on the quarterback. And tackles for loss stats, they've been pretty high in that. Put pressure on this young man. I think that's the key to everything. You pressure the quarterback, obviously. You take away the running game of someone like Brooks. You make them one-dimensional, and you can do great things. Do I think they can cover and handle our receivers? No, I do not. I do not believe that this football team can handle the receiving core that we bring to the table. I think they're going to have a lot of problems. This is my opinion on it. What do you think? If you agree with my assessment, you can put sevens in the chat room. I appreciate that. D3 says 3-3-5 is made for Shedeur to light them up. Well, remember, wait a minute now. I'm glad you said that, D3. Texas Tech will be facing the best receiving core in the Big 12. Yes, indeed, the best receiving core. Not a chance they can cover our wideouts. No way. But D3, you said something that I liked. 3-3-5. Isn't that the same damn defense that Cincinnati ran against CU? They ran a 3-3-5. What do you call it? A 3-3-5 stack, right? And Shedeur and Coach Prime and everybody said, oh, okay, we saw what they were doing. So we ran the ball against that three-man line. Well, I'm telling you right now, if the coach of Texas Tech wants to run that kind of defense, then I want to see this young man right here run that ball, run that man, run Isaiah, run Dylan. No, run. We know Dylan ain't with us no more. I'm talking about running this man right here. All right? Get this man involved in the action. Get these running backs involved. All right? Another thing, I want to see this man right here, Jimmy Horn. We've got to get him. We got to get him off to a fast start. I want to see Jimmy Horn, who last week he put up some few numbers. I want to see Jimmy Horn. If we can get Jimmy Horn off to a great start early in the game, once again, it only opens up everything else for what they need to do. Get him active, because I think when you've got Jimmy Horn playing on all full cylinders, when you have Wester on all full cylinders, right? When you have these guys playing in the way that they've been playing, it makes a hell of a difference. The secondary, let's give up some claps to DJ McKinney and what he's been able to do with Preston Hodge. They played very good last week. We want to see them keep that same energy in this week's game. Okay? This is about an attitude. Play football with an attitude. Go out there with the attitude that you're going to beat them. You're going to punish them. You're going to drag them across that field. You're going to make Texas Tech have to do everything to try to play with you. You want to put continued pressure on them. Coach Prime has talked about how he wants to continue to put pressure on these other teams. B-Dub 97 gives a clap, and I appreciate that. Texas Tech runs a 4 on the line. Chad says Texas Tech runs 4 on the line. But do they dabble in any 3-3-5 defense too? Because if they run that, we can run. If they try to play that defense, we're going to run all over them. Okay? But even if they're playing a 4-man line, the question still remains, can they play with our receivers? I say no. D3 says, I still don't think our offense has played their best game. Example of the best game is, 50-plus points. Just saying. Hey, we got to aim high, don't we? Realism says, I truly believe we've got the overall CU is going to make, right, with those tortillas. They're going to make enchiladas with those tortillas being thrown. Very funny. Very, 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 very funny. No, they're capable of doing whatever they need to do to win these football games, everybody. Okay, they're capable. And Shador, we're going to see him do his thing out there. Now, I want to bring up something that you all have heard about. People were telling me about On3 Sports and how the CEO there was very disrespectful to Coach Prime as it relates to Dukes. And I want to talk about that because these were the headlines. But these were the headlines, and I'm bringing you the receipts, as you probably have already seen. But these were one of the headlines. Deion Sanders defends reporter who was fired after visiting Boulder. Now, that was what was put out there that everybody ran with, that he was fired. And then Coach Prime had said this originally. What's really going on, my man? Duke's the Scoop is a free agent. I just heard this young brother is truly talented, smart, right? Rational, and will work his butt off. Networks and media outlets, please check him out. So Coach Prime's going to bat for him. On3 Sports, what's really going on? God bless you, my brother, Coach Prime. Signature there on that X or Twitter, whatever we call it, mark. Now, the CEO or the owner of On3 Sports jumped out the window saying, Coach Deion Sanders, with all due respect, as my mother and father told me growing up, mind your own plate. Dukes and I had a great conversation this morning about what was best for On3 Sports and his career. We are good and have a plan. Now, it was put out there by certain people that Dukes was fired and that there was a disrespect. People felt that, and Bucky did not take it very well. Of course, Bucky went to his social media and called this Shannon Young out. What's his name? Shannon Terry, I think is his name, who is the CEO or the owner of On3 Sports. And Bucky, if I'm not mistaken, Bucky wasn't feeling, okay?
Tell the truth.
What he was selling there, and he didn't like the disrespect. And a lot of people out there that follow Colorado and Coach Prime, they're saying, hey, we're through with On3 Sports. We're completely through with them. Don't want to hear nothing about them. And so Bucky did not like the disrespect towards, his father and towards the team in this way. And the whole question was, did Dukes get fired released from On3 Sports because of visiting Colorado. And I start wondering, okay, what's going on here as people were talking about this? Well, Dukes went on well-off media. He's going to be doing a lot of work with CU. He's going to be out there in Boulder working with the team, doing his thing. Coach Prime is embracing him, and he's an independent reporter now. But Dukes laid out the air, and he told what the real truth is. So let's go in here into the studio here, and let's hear from Dukes himself about what really was going on, what really happened, because you might be surprised about what really went down. This is from the man himself. I just wanted to clip a little bit of this. This is fair use with the purpose of educating, parody, critical analysis. This is fair use. And shout out to Well Off Media, Bucky, everybody there in Colorado. Check this out.
All right, so look, I see, the headlines, Dukes got fired, all of that type stuff. That really just wasn't true. What I will say is this.
Stop it right there. So to remove these rumors, in the articles, it said that he was fired. A lot of people believe that he was just outright fired. Not true. He's going to tell you here that he really wasn't fired, but this is how it went down.
What happened? Might as well just go ahead and tell you. What happened was, I get a call from the CEO, Dukes, let's talk, talking about contracts for next year. We're like, bro, we're not going to renew you. We feel like we don't have the support for your talent.
Stop right there. This is where I have a problem with On3 Sports. Even though Dukes is saying he wasn't fired, I just think it's kind of interesting that ever since Dukes gave shine to CU, all of a sudden, they don't have resources for his talents. This is why this is I'm not saying that Dukes is BS. The CEO is BS. Wait a minute. If you don't have resources for his talent, then how can you keep the other guys on the show? You see how this works? If you can't keep Duke's talent, how are you able to keep the other people on the payroll? Isn't it interesting that Dukes, after having sort of a visiting CU and seems to have a good relationship with the players and the coaching, or at least Coach Prime in this case, that all of a sudden they don't have the money or the resources to keep him on board. So they tell this brother, well, we don't have the money and resources for your type of talent, but you got the money and resources for everybody else's talent that you got in On3 Sports. Does that make any sense to any of you guys out there? Just let me know in the chat room if I'm cooking with grease right now. Doesn't it seem like my man Dukes, that CEO, just told you what he wanted to tell you, because maybe he really wanted to get rid of you, brother, but just came up with that story about, well, we don't have the money to keep you on board. We don't have the resources for your type of talent. What the hell? Ladies and gentlemen, when you have a great talent, you do what you got to do to keep that talent, because if he's that talent, not only will he make money, but they'll make money too off his talent. Why wouldn't they not get rid of somebody that was less talent to keep his talent? Do you see what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
If you agree with me, put sevens in the chat room. I wish I could talk to Dukes. I should get him on this channel and interview him about this, because I feel like maybe that's what they just told you, brother, as a way to make it look like we're not really firing you. We just don't have the resources for your type of Listen to this again. It don't make sense to me personally, but he's telling the story.
We don't have the support for your talent.
Boom. Duke says that they don't have the support for his talent. Does that make any sense to anybody? I might have to cut this video into a separate video for an upload, a little small upload or something. Does that make any sense right there, y'all? Please tell me something in the chat room. Dwayne says transforming exactly. Texas Tech just win the biggest game of the program, number 11. So I feel the same way. Going to be a close game. Chad says the deal with 3-3-5 is you cannot run the ball. Right. I hear what you're saying. Shirley agrees with me. D3 agrees with me. Peggy Ross agrees with me. I think so well. And Peggy says no sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Let's hear what he's saying here.
That you need. All right. I told her we wrapped. I'm like, all right, cool. He was like, look, your contract is good. We gonna pay you out. You're a free agent. Everything good.
Now, this doesn't make sense. They're telling Dukes that they don't have the support for his talent, but at the same time, they're gonna pay out his contract. Does that make any sense? If they got him under contract, why wouldn't they not? If he's under contract, that means he's only due to get the money that they have already contractually agreed to with him. So why would you need to remove or move him away from the platform at this time unless you are simply trying to get rid of him because you don't like, maybe you're jealous of the relationship he has with CU? It doesn't make sense. So you're going to pay out the man's contract, let him go. No, I personally, Dukes, no, all due respect to you, brother, I personally think that they just wanted to get rid of you for whatever the reasons are related to your relationship at CU. So they decided, let's pay this man out, get rid of him. We'll pay out your contract. So now we don't have any obligation to you. And then they turn around and going to tell you it's because they don't have the resources to support your talent. That doesn't even make any sense. I thought the name of the game, everybody, is to have the best damn talent on your damn platform. They gonna remove Dukes, but they gonna keep everybody else. Let's continue.
You can start for next year. Start looking for whatever you're gonna do now. We still want to support you, whatever.
Right.
Good.
Right. Chad, it's not about his talent. Right. It's not about any of that. It's a smoke screen they're throwing out there. Alicia, it's a smoke screen. Jabba, it's a smoke screen. Let me finish this out.
All right, man. We did an verbal shake, whatever. We go on. I ain't even trip. That's 11:20. At 11:30, I did a show with my man JD Piquel at the time. Didn't even trip. He had no idea. So I get off the phone. So I get off the show, and I call Coach Prime. I'm like, look, Coach, I'm still coming to Colorado, but I wanted to know because we had already worked out for me to come to a practice either next week or the week after for me to see everything after my first look at Colorado. Now, come to a practice, all of that. I said, is it still going to be cool if I come if I put it on an independent platform and not on 3? He said, yeah, that's fine, but what's going on? I said, well, they ain't renew me. He's like, well, all right, when do you start? You
hear this? Do you hear what he's saying here? And Coach Prime wasn't buying it either. No more than me and you.
Like, when does this take place? I said, immediately. And Coach is like, he just felt the kind of way. But he told me, man, I got you. He said, listen, I'm going to get you. I want you and Bucky to work together.
So everybody, he will be working with Bucky at CU. They're going to be working together, which I think is going to be sensational, those two guys working together. But I'm not buying the cocky maney story that On3 Sports has put out. Now I understand, after diving into this whole situation, why a lot of CU fans, a lot of y'all that follow my channel and other channels here, why you guys are sour on 3 Sports. And I'm now very sour on them because I can read between the lines. We're not stupid. It's obvious that if they wanted to keep this man on, they would have moved the earth to provide the resources and the support to keep him on the show if he's that damn good. Because like I said before, if you got a guy that's that good, it's only going to make your platform make more money. Why wouldn't you not promote that individual? I don't, I hate to go with the race situation, but hey, we got to be honest. I just wonder how much of it has to do with the man's paint job, if you know what I mean.
Tell the truth.
Because last time I checked on 3 Sports, they got a lot of guys working there who got don't look like me, and they seem to be working, and they seem to be making their podcasts, and I don't see them pushing them out the door, but they push Dukes out the door. I'm not saying Duke said that he wasn't fired. I'm saying that it just seems interesting that they were willing to buy out his contract so quickly, because to me, it's a sign that we got to get rid of this guy so we can move on. And then the CEO of this platform, the On3 Sports, left that message on Twitter for Coach Prime, telling Coach Prime, with all due respect, as my mother and father told me growing up, mind your own plate. And all Coach Prime said was, what's really going on with my man Dukes, the Scoop? He's a free agent, and I just heard this young brother is talented. So come on now. What's really going on? I just wanted to touch on that tonight. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Dwayne says, but responding to Coach Prime with that message tells you all you need to know. It tells you all you need to know about the situation. I didn't really want to have to get into these issues like this, but it just makes me wonder what's really going on, right? That's all I'm saying. It just makes me wonder, everybody, what's really going on, what's really happening. Once again, Colorado is playing Texas Tech this weekend. Make sure you all tune in for that. I know you will. This upcoming weekend, I'm going to be pretty busy with things I have to do out of town. But what I will do is I will be coming back with a post-game video. If not that night, if not that day after the game Saturday, I will come back with a post-game video. Hopefully that Sunday or that Monday, you're going to get a post-game video regardless. But I want to thank everybody that came out tonight for this particular show. I want to say, as I always do, I want to say thank you for watching tonight. Like and comment when you get a chance. Subscribe to this channel if you're new here and this is your first time at this channel. Come on back over, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share this video on all your social media, share the video on your Facebook, your Twitch, or your X. Share, and share alike. I appreciate you all. Thank you. My presentation wasn't going to be that long tonight. Didn't have a lot. I think it's just very simple. We can beat Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I'm going to say this again for people that came in late. Texas Tech likes to spread you out with 5 wide receivers. They're a very tempo-type oriented team. They like to run a lot of tempo-type offense. Defensively, the coach himself, McGuire, says that they have been pretty good at getting teams to turn the football over, and that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to run the ball heavily with Brooks, their running back right here. Their key guy at the receiving position is Josh Kelly. Their tight end is Conyers, number 12. He can make some things happen. So we're going to have to be aware of some of the talent that they do have on this team and what they're going to try to do to exploit the opportunity to beat CU. I'm saying it right now. CU is going to be victorious this upcoming weekend. They're going to go to a 5-1 record in the conference. Overall, 7-2. Then they're going to play a team called Oklahoma State, which is not a very good football team. So my prediction is that CU is going to be 8-2. Okay? Before it's all said and done. They're going to be, I predict they're going to be 6-1 in the conference. And then once again, we want to see these other teams lose. We want to see Kansas State lose. We want to see Iowa State lose. We want to see BYU lose. We want to see a whole bunch of teams lose. We want to see some of these ranked football teams. I know that CU is now ranked 20, but we want to see some of these teams lose, like a Vanderbilt, a Pitt, okay, Washington, any of these teams, right? At Iowa State, which is now ranked 17, Ole Miss. We want some of these other teams to lose as we win games, right? And I know that this AP poll that I put up had them at 21 because that's where they were for a minute, and now they've been moved up. And you know how these rankings go. They could change at any minute, and there's various different polls that may have different types of rankings. So while they're ranked 21 on the AP, they might be ranked higher on another poll. You see how this works. So everybody, I appreciate your participation in the chat room. Let me see. Transforming Brother, they play Utah. So they play Utah before they play, damn it, where's my, I had a schedule here and I can't find it. So wait a minute, let's correct something. They're going to play Utah the week after they played Texas Tech, right? For some reason, I thought that they would be playing Oklahoma after. And this is why I was looking for my schedule, and all of a sudden, it's not in my system. I don't know what happened to it. So that means I'm going to have to put it back in there, boot it back up. But I appreciate you for what you're saying in the chat room. I appreciate that. We play Utah next. Oklahoma is the last game of the oh, okay, last game. I'm sorry about that. Well, we could beat Utah. Wait a minute. Let's put this back up. We could beat Utah. Let's look at Utah's record. They're not doing well either, everybody. Utah is 1-4 in conference, 4-4 overall record. So Utah is not doing great. And you're right. We play Oklahoma State last. I don't know why I kept thinking that we're playing Oklahoma after we play Texas Tech. That's my bad, everybody. But Utah, let's just be honest about this. Looking at Utah's record, 1-4 in conference, 4-4 overall. They're 2-2 at home, 2-2 away. They're not playing great football, and we can beat them too. You see what I'm saying? So with that saying, everybody, I'm going to have a great night. I'll see you very soon. Peace. I appreciate everybody in the chat room. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
What about us? What about the times when you feel like you could trust? Yeah, now you want to chase for the same shit.
Thank you, everybody.
You hear the sirens in the lake and want to chase them. Beauty on the out, but you're surrounded by the fake shit. Beasts in a maze. Sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up your homies and it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I'm seeing nightmares, sleeping you out right there like you never left, and I am hoping that you might care, change on me. What about us? What about the times when I feel like I could trust? Yeah, now I'm on a chase for the same shit. I hear the sirens in the lake.
And once again, correction, they will be playing Utah after beating, I believe they will beat Texas Tech and then take on Utah, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I wonder if you're social lately. I wonder if you're always fucking sober or emotional roller coaster, barely coasting, hardly cope and wanna call me, but you never push that motherfucking button. Change on me. What about us? What about the times when you feel like you could trust? Yeah, now you wanna chase for the same shit. You hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but you're surrounded by the fake shit. Beasts in a maze, sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up your homies and it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to